Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for Grow Mad Bag TV, and we're going to get into everything I covered during the Crypto Minute and then a little bit more. So let's dig in. If you are a regular user of, the platform, actually, if you're just a regular viewer of any of my videos, you know that the number one thing I ask you to do is do your own research. Now, had you done your own research, even if you just listen to moi, you would have known that the story that came out yesterday on Cointelegraph was absolutely fake news. And the reason why is because there was no corroborating stories anyplace else. Okay, that would have been your first flag. There's nothing else going on except they're reporting that BlackRock got approved for a Bitcoin spot ETF. That was absolutely wrong. And you would have known that had you been paying attention to me or done your own research. Excuse me. So, what really happened was a story was reported on Cointelegraph. Mind you, Cointelegraph is one of the places that I actually use to get news because I trust them. Now, does this faux pas mean that I'm not going to trust them anymore? Absolutely not. Here's why. The reason why is because it's very rare that this happens there. They are a very good news source and they dig into their news. They really do stand up, and they're investigating this right now because they want to find out just what happened, how it happened. And if you're worried about the pop, yes, it affected how much of a pop that Bitcoin saw following that news. But remember, Bitcoin was seeing a pop anyway because of Friday. Friday is when we found out that the SEC was going to not chase after an appeal of a court ruling that says that the grayscale Bitcoin spot ETF conversion, should have happened. Now, looking forward, do I think there's going to be a major pullback? No, I don't think there's going to be a major pullback, but I do think there's going to be a pullback. I think that the news hit yesterday that, hey, that was fake news. Even BlackRock had to come out and say, hey, fake news. However, the fact that that grayscale ruling has stood and the SEC has not appealed says that we're moving in the right direction, and we can probably expect a spot ETF soon. Now, is that going to happen this year? I think highly possible. Could it happen January, February timeframe next year? Again, highly possible. Really depends on just how hard the government gets hit with, hey, you're supposed to make this happen, so how come it's not happening? Because the court said you have no reason to say no. It didn't give them a timeline on when they had to say yes, but it said you have no reason to say no. Now that the court ruling is out and there's no appeal, it would say that, well, let's look at the time frame, and then depending on the time frame, that's what they'll do. So we're just waiting. I think we're just in a waiting game. We're waiting for them to actually roll over. That's really what's going on. But again, the whole point of this is that you should be doing your own research. Again, if you're not seeing corroborating evidence, something should go off in your head as that's fishy. That should actually happen. I make mistakes. I obviously make mistakes. I've had avid viewers reach out to me and go, hey, you were wrong on this one. And I've called it out. I've put it into my articles and everything, so it's, there in time. Not everybody's perfect. I haven't met a person that's perfect. I'm not saying that the person doesn't exist. I'm just saying that I'm not perfect. So I make mistakes. So I understand how mistakes can happen. And again, I trust Cointelegraph. Not that they pay me, they don't. Not that there's any affiliation, there isn't. I just value them as a news source. And because they're all over it and looking into this, and there's going to be some kind of investigation, hopefully it'll get back to the public and say, hey, this is what we found, right? So we'll see what happens. Next up, the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority out in UK, I told you there were sanctions against Binance's marketing partner out there. Now, Binance has had to temporarily stop onboarding new customers. And the reason why is because they have to work with a marketing firm that is FCA approved, right? Financial Conduct Authority. And the reason why is because they have new rules about marketing for crypto. You have to have, different risk labels and all that kind of stuff. So an FCA approved firm would be taking those steps. It's not to say that they want to throw business at specific firms. It's to say that they want these firms to abide by certain rules. And so Binance has had to stop. This is another small problem. Often when I consult small businesses, I tell them, listen, it's not just who you do business with, but it's also who they do business with. Remember when you were growing up and it was like, you shouldn't run around kissing everybody? Because if they're running around kissing everybody, it's not just you kissing them, but it's you kissing whoever they kissed. That's the way my mom used to tell me. So we should be paying attention to that, right? We should absolutely be paying attention to who you're doing business with and who they're doing business with, that whole supply chain. Okay. And this is why Binance has had to temporarily pause the onboarding of new customers in the UK. Kind of big news because Binance has been taking it on the nose from a regulatory perspective for a while all around the world. So I do pay attention to that because I think it can have an effect on the market depending on what you're looking for. Now, something else that I'm paying attention to is Coinbase's head tax attorney, this guy, Lawrence Zlatkin, smart guy, said that, listen, the IRS and the Treasury put forward this proposal that, exchanges will have to give the IRS and Treasury all kinds of client transaction data. And he points out that figuring out and monitoring and surveying all of that data that's out there, it's not the whether or not they should. It's what he's calling out is, that's a big question. And no, we don't agree that we should have to do that because you don't have to do it for other things. They want to know who. When you do other transactions, they don't need to know who. So this is information that they would not need to handle a transaction. So it gets deeper than that. And I just don't feel like going through it right now. So I'm just making it smaller for this particular story. But the idea that they want to collect all that information, it's the question of not whether or not we should be there. It's whether or not you can. It's do you have the capability of. The DeFi space is massive. It is massive. The number of transactions, massive. How are you going to keep up with that? And Coinbase is just speaking from, hey, we're Coinbase. We have tons of transactions. We're the largest in the country. I don't know how they're going to keep up with this. How are you going to keep up with everybody? And, how are you going to keep up with everything that happens on decentralized exchanges? How are you going to keep up with everything that happens OTC? OTC is an over-the-counter transaction. Sometimes it's a brokered deal, so there's a broker in the middle, and sometimes it's not. I could literally walk up to one of my friends and be like, yo, you said you wanted to borrow $10. I'll give you this $10 if you give me that hard drive, or that passkey to X amount of Bitcoin. Boom. Nothing else happened other than I took over a wallet. Think about that. I took over a wallet. I handed them cash. They handed me a wallet. And now I can do with that wallet whatever I want. I might choose to leave whatever's in that wallet and just let that wallet lie. Or I can do another transaction and say, hey, I loaned you that $10. Do you have the 10% interest? Do you have the 11 that you're going to give to me? And I give them back that's two transactions right there that nobody knows about. Nobody knows about that. Right? I think the government needs to really take a step back and really get a lesson on how it all works. I think the major problem is it's hurry up and do the wrong thing for our government. So it's something I'm paying attention to, and I think you should too. I'm running out of time. JP Morgan's JP Morgan's Onyx has done a pilot program with UAE's largest bank, and that's First Abu Dhabi Bank, and it was for a cross-border transaction. They're leveraging Onyx for their cross-border settlements, and that's huge. And India is being accused of manipulating rupee dollar transactions, so that's going to be big. Anyway, you know what we should do? We should probably get into the numbers. So let's go do that. And I'll keep talking about other stuff. So I'm looking at all this and I'm saying to myself, somebody asked me, I think it was CM Jones asked me, do I have a some kind of crypto 101 kind of video? And I do have those videos. If you go over to YouTube, you can see I do have those videos. I do need to redo them because they're old. Not much, nothing's changed. It's just I have better equipment. I should do them over. I should do a better job, is what I'm saying. But they are valuable if you're looking for a lesson. So you should actually go look at that. The fear and greed index is at 52. I suspect it's going to pull back, but maybe not, because there really is pent up positive energy for Bitcoin. Even BlackRock's Larry Fink said, listen, check this out. Yes, it was fake news, but the market's reaction absolutely says that people are looking to a flight to quality, right? They're saying that there's a lot of pent up, positive action toward Bitcoin. So when those spot ETFs hit, whoo, that's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. Yesterday's TVL, total value locked, was 47.34 billion. Now it's 48.192 billion. Not mad about that. I'm also not expecting it to rise up anytime soon. I'm expecting it to rise up, I'd say probably second quarter next year. That's what I'm really expecting. That's when I'm expecting a massive rise. If you look at my chart right here, you can actually see within my green band. Again, my green band is from 26,475 to 31,580, and that's the price for Bitcoin. You can actually see that we're above that 2828 number that I keep telling you we must sustain. We must sustain that momentum. Why? Because if we are above 2828, getting to above 30 and sustaining above 30 is only a hair away. That's honestly what I think. And if you look closely, this is when that news hit from Cointelegraph. That's when it shot up to almost $30,000, 30 million. I wish. That's what you should be paying attention to. That news hit and it came right back down, and it's doing what it's doing based off of the actual news, which is that the SEC has not appealed the grayscale ruling. Remember that. Corroborate your stories, corroborate your information, and then you can act. And you can act with knowledge instead of acting without. Okay. The next one is just look at the big screen. You can probably see it over there because that's the one I use when I'm looking. I have my monitors over here. I have 3 monitors over here, and I use that one over there. You can see that a lot of coins are in the red. I'm expecting Polkadot to be in the red. Polkadot to me doesn't have any good news. Shiba Inu I think is going to pick up, but it's still in the red. Link, I keep telling people, Chainlink is a part of the connective tissue. It really is. No oracle is larger. They're connecting real world assets to digital assets in a major fashion. You should be paying attention to that. Solana. Can you please pay attention to Solana? Can you please pay attention to Bitcoin Cash? Those are 2 coins that are very undervalued in my humble opinion, and they're making huge moves. Look at the positive news that happened to Bitcoin, and you can see, even if you just compare the news right now, okay, Bitcoin's at 2.67%. It's been up for a little bit, but Solana's up 5.31. Just look at that. So over the past, year to date right now, 71%. For Bitcoin, 32%, a modest 32%. No, don't get me wrong. That's better than any bank. Just saying. But a modest 32% for Ethereum. Scroll down a little bit. Number 7, Solana's at 142%. What should you have bought? I rejigged one of my friend's portfolios, like a brother to me. We sat down, we went over the portfolio, and I told him why I'm rejigging his portfolio. I know what he wants to do with other investments, and I was able to say, okay, this is where I think you should stock your portfolio. Yes, there is Bitcoin. He didn't have a lot. So yes, there is Bitcoin. Told him to put in more on a regular basis because Bitcoin is different, and we can get into that when I start doing portfolio reviews. We will do portfolio reviews as soon as we launch the platform, and I know you guys have been waiting for the platform. We are currently testing direct messaging on the platform. Seems to be working well. Testing is going well. We're trying to make it look prettier. We're not the best designers, but the functionality is there. The functionality is there. The content is there. If you check me out, or if you check out Grow My Bag on X, you can see all the posts that we're making. Each one of those posts represents a story that we've published. There's going to be a lot going on that platform. A heck of a lot. A heck of a lot. And so if we do have a for-pay service, or we will introduce a for-pay service, that for-pay service will be so that you get our news at least 1 hour before we release it to the public. That's not bad. That's what I'm telling you. Go check out what we're posting on X. You can check us out. We're posting on X. We're posting it on our Facebook page. We're trying to give people a taste of this is what's coming. This is the information that we have that's coming. Are we perfect? No, we're not perfect. Nothing out there is perfect. But we're trying to do a good job for you guys. And we're trying to create an environment where you guys can come, have conversations, ask things, and not just about crypto. It's going to be about anything that involves investment. So crypto, stocks, options, bonds, whatever it is that you guys want to talk about. And it's about, investment. It's about managing your money. Business management. We'll drop a lot of information on there about, how to manage your business, marketing, how to grow your business, because it's all about how you grow your bag. That's what it's all about. All right. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, drop me a note. I'd love to hear from you. And if you don't like what I'm doing, do me a favor. Drop me a note anyway and tell me how I can improve for you. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.